All right, I believe we are live.
Well, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order.
Good.
Jennifer's so efficient, I know she's got the roll call already, so. We'll move on to the approval of the agenda.
I just had one amendment to that. I kind of explained it in my email from earlier. The folks at the Federal Rec Trails shot back, and the resolution that we passed last week didn't include the matching funds portion, which is typical for all these. And I don't know, last year they didn't have us. I don't know if that wasn't included or they didn't. Maybe they looked over it, but so I went ahead and revamped that resolution. So that is all I have for the agenda. Any changes to the agenda?
Where should we put it? Under new business? Or old business?
Yeah, or I guess we could just take care of it right away under old business too. Like I said, it's same thing from last month, just I had to add that portion about the my paper's all shifted up here for some reason.
Call it 5A.
Sure, that works for me.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as revised.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The agenda is approved. Approval of minutes of previous meeting.
Yeah, I don't know if you've all had a chance to look at those. I went through, everything looked good on our end, on my end anyway.
I looked them over. I thought they looked good.
Mhm. Agreed. We need a motion to approve the minutes.
Yes.
Okay, this is Marilyn. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
And I'll second them.
Moved by Marilyn, seconded by Molly. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. We'll table the bills till we get a chance to look at them. Or no?
I don't think we'll be able to do that, but I can go over, I'll pop that up on a share screen too. If I can figure that out again. Hold on 1 second here. All right, you see those?
Yeah, I got them.
All
Yep.
right.
Why?
Good deal. Cool. I'm getting better at it, I guess. All right, so I'll just run through these quick. Give me a shout if you have any questions on anything. Airgas USA, we've got, we picked up a couple new cylinders for our new welder we picked up for Swede Point. We have to pay deposits on those. There's like a 5-year deposit, and I think they're $130 a piece or 144 some odd cents a piece. So we went ahead and gonna pay that for 5 years. That way we can take the cylinders back and keep getting them exchanged and things like that, and they won't charge us for that. Keep rolling down here. Arnold Motor Supply, that is for some accessories for that welder that we picked up for Swede Point. Boone County ISU Extension, Roger and I have some of our continuing education for our commercial pesticide applicators permits that we have coming up here soon. Card Services, Katie had picked up some stuff for her naturalist programs. She's went along with the pack the packs that I guess pre-packaged kind of little satchels for folks that want to do some of the programs on their own. She's actually got some of those put together, and she had somebody using them last Friday. So I think that'll be good to have those.
Good.
Yeah, and then I think she picked up a couple. I think she picked up a tripod for her camera, so she can start doing some videos. Which again, she's already started doing. She's going to put some of her naturalist programs that she would really, technically do for the public, and put a lot of that on film, which not only will help, with this year, but for the future if they have a rain day or something like that, and that way she has an alternative, I guess, source of information she can use in case of rain days, or if a program falls through and they're not able to come for some reason, she can still provide that information to them. So keep scrolling here. Semstone concrete is for top dressing for the golf course. We do that every other year, top dress all the greens. Dock Hall trailers, we did end up trading in our old trailer and got a heck of a trade in on that to pick up a new tilt bed trailer like the one that we purchased here a few months back. So now we have 2 trailers, one at Swede Point, one at Don Williams, that we can use to haul our skid loaders and tractors and equipment around, which is fantastic. Having 2 trailers now, not having to juggle them in between the 2 parks, has worked out really good. Galls, Blaine picked up some equipment for his uniform through Galls. Iowa DNR, that's for our water usage permit for the golf course for our irrigation. Iowa Prison Industries, we found out that they're discontinuing a lot of the U-channel posts that we use to put up a lot of our signage. So we actually got a pretty discounted price on a bunch of those. Iowa Sportsman's running another ad in the Iowa Sportsman's again. I think that one is for November. Only a couple. You'll see Jessica Young, and I believe there's one more on here. No, I think that's it as far as refunds for COVID. So that's good. At least we're not getting a bunch of those. Katie had a fuel reimbursement for the derecho. When our pumps were down, she had to put in some fuel in the Tahoe. Trying to see anything else. M&R Metalworks, we got another donation box made for the bridge. We have the one right now, originally on the east side of the bridge. Now we're going to put one on the west side of the bridge as well, just to catch anybody that may be coming from that way that didn't see it coming from the east end. And we've been getting, I think I do deposits every few months, and we've been getting pretty good amounts on those going into the foundation. I think the last deposit I made was over $250. So not a ton, but it definitely adds up and can be used for future projects. So Menards, all 3 of those are materials for the deck at Swede Point on the Park Ranger house, and then also fixing the roof, which I'm documenting all that for FEMA and our insurance for insurance purposes as well. See if there's anything else in here that's out of the ordinary. Looks like some mower replacement parts. Other than that, van wall, that's going to be majority of that's going to be chains, and I think we had some tire patches and tubes for those when we were doing a lot of the cleanup on the trail. And yeah, I think the rest of that's pretty much typical normal monthly bills. So any questions on any of that?
Nope.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve those bills then.
Okay.
And I will second.
Okay. Molly and Marilyn, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Bills are approved.
All right. And for the bills, I don't know if that worked out for a couple of you guys last month, just to run into the auditor's office and do that. If not, I can certainly pick them up and we can meet somewhere tomorrow. I don't know if
I will be in the auditor's office tomorrow, or in the courthouse tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll be there busy working on testing voting machines, but I'll check and see if they're there to.
Yeah, yep, that'd be great. I didn't hear anything from Beth this afternoon. I guess letting me know they were done. I'm assuming they probably are, 'cause I told her we kind of talked a little bit about it, and seems to be working out pretty good the way we've been doing it. So would one of you others be able to go in there and sign?
Well, I can always run in and do it, so,
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, if Molly and Marilyn, if you guys could run in there, that'd be fantastic. That way we don't save me a trip and get them taken care of right there and get them right back to Beth so she can get them on the agenda, or get them to the supervisors for their meeting on Wednesday. So
Okay.
that would be awesome. All right.
5A, the referendum.
Okay, so resolution for an all, can you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay. Again, same as what it was that I had last month. The only thing that we had to add was this portion here, just basically saying that we'll provide match funds for the on top of the funds that the funds that we're using for a match for the grant for this project that needed to be in there for them. So this is basically just last month's, and I just changed some dates. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably have to go back through and just delete Greg's name since he wasn't here. But other than that, if you guys want to go ahead and move to approve the resolution for the federal rec trail grant for the High Trestle Trail to City of Boone Trail Phase 1, that would be great.
Okay, I make a motion to approve that as you have stated it.
And I will second it.
And moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 And opposed? Motion carried.
And Jennifer, if you maybe just note in the minutes that this was passed at last month's meeting, we just had to amend it to add that portion about providing match funds required for the project, in case they needed to look at the minutes to see that, but we should be pretty good. So that is all I have for that.
Another old business item is update on derecho storm event.
Okay, so just kind of want to update you guys on where we're at with everything storm related. We did rent that telehandler here. I think we had it the beginning of last month, right around the time we had our meeting. Worked fantastic. They actually let us keep it for over the weekend until the following Wednesday. They were supposed to pick it up that Monday because we had a little bit more we wanted to do, and I haven't gotten a bill for it. They didn't charge us for it, so that's great. We got a couple of extra days out of that, which was fantastic. We were able to get the majority of all the hanging, leaning things that are out on the trail, on our portion of the trail. And then we also had it at Swede Point to be able to hit some of those areas that got hit pretty hard in the campgrounds that still had some broken off limbs and hanging and leaning things too. So we're pretty well wrapped up as far as that part goes. We're going to go back this winter and address a lot of the debris that was left along the side of the trail. There's going to be a lot of little piles of things. We're not really that concerned with that because it does provide habitat. And once things kind of grow back up next season, you'll never even see that stuff. So, but we do want to get back in there and get a lot of the bigger debris that could potentially be a hazard to trail users. And then just kind of looks like an eyesore too. But we wanted to wait until the leaves dropped so we could get in there and see what we're dealing with. And then also not as many visitors on the trail, so we can avoid that. That was the challenge, definitely a challenge when we were out there working here this last month. we probably spent a third of the time waiting on people, which is fine, but it just, I always have that in the back of my head. It's, with having all that equipment out there and saws running, it definitely makes me nervous a little bit when some of those folks come through, because a lot of them are pretty respectful and, hop off their bikes and let you know they're there, but some of them just buzz right by you, like they don't even see you, and it's just makes you nervous. So yeah, we decided we're gonna wait until things calm down. Like I said, things get a little colder, not as many people trail to go back and hit some of that bigger debris. So we did, if you guys can see on the screen right now, this is the statement of loss that we had for the structures at Swede Point. We did end up getting, what is it, 50 or $31,730. We still have some due. The dwelling there, it says naturalist dwelling. It's actually the park ranger dwelling, but I believe that's what they have it listed under the insurance. We did have, the majority of the damage was on that. We did have, the deck was completely destroyed. And then there was one corner, the southwest corner of the house, the corner kind of took a little bit of a hit from some of the falling debris. So we got all that pretty well wrapped up. Blaine and Katie actually worked. I got all the materials list lined up for Blaine, and him and Katie went down and whipped that thing out in a couple of days, and it looks fantastic. They did a really good job. Eric and I kind of guided on what to do with that. So we had some other stuff to take care of up at Don Williams. So they hit that hard, got that done, and then Eric and I went down and fixed the eyebrow on the house that was kind of broken. Fixed some of the fascia boards and got some shingles to patch some of the areas that had that were damaged from the storm. So most everything's done. We're just waiting for gutters. We've got the crew coming in to put gutters. They were supposed to get here last week. I think they're running a little behind, but they're going to get new fascia metal and gutters put back on the house. And then for the most part, the house will be pretty well ready to go. The only other thing is the shop was the biggest, I guess, kind of question mark as to what we do. We have patched. There's a few places on the roof that needed patched. We went up there and did that pretty shortly after the storm. They did, the insurance adjuster did give us money or allocate money to put a whole new roof on that shop. The only problem with that is we spray foamed that last fall, and if we try to pull that old roof off, the spray foam is going to come with it. So we kind of let them know we may or may not do that. We talked with a couple people about possibly just overlaying what's on there now with some new metal. I'm not sure what the cost there associated there will be, because I know you're probably gonna have to go through and pull nails off of the old stuff. It'll still be attached through that spray foam, but it'll just we're gonna have to have somebody hop up there and take a look at that. The shelter and bathhouse just had minor damages, soffit, fascia, a little bit of the siding, and there's a little bit. They actually did, I believe, quote us money for, quote us money for a new siding on the naturalist dwelling or the park ranger house there too. So it's not really bad. There's a few areas that are kind of dinged up. You can tell that debris hit it and broke a little bit. It's all vinyl siding, so I think if anything, we could probably go through and at least just replace the panels that need replaced without having to go through and replace the whole thing. But again, we're still kind of assessing that. But yeah, so that's where we're at as far as the structures go. Don Williams, we've taken a look. We pretty much got all the trees removed, and again, a lot of the storm damage up there was just to trees and vegetation. So pretty well got most of that wrapped up. We've got trees marked for removal this fall, which a couple of those were from storm. Unfortunately, a lot of those are ash trees from emerald ash borer. But so yeah, we've checked a lot of our other outlying areas, all the other outlying areas. Again, Jay Carlson was fine as far as the boat ramp in that area. All the parking areas are all cleared. We do have some bigger trees, of course, down in some of the wildlife areas, but again, those serve their purpose too for habitat and things like that, as long as they're not on any trails or any pathways or a danger to anybody, that would happen to be driving by one of those areas. But for the most part, we're pretty well wrapped up for now as far as the cleanup goes, except for the trail. I do have a meeting with a rep from FEMA. I believe that is Thursday. It's kind of a recovery scoping meeting. They're going to come out and just explain how to track everything that we had, all of the work that we did as far as the initial emergency when things first hit. And they'll kind of run through that and I guess give us training on how we go about documenting all that. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else as far as derecho related. Right off the top of my head, I think that's pretty much covers it all. So you guys have any questions on any of that?
Nope.
Okay. Yep, it was a mess, but we're plugging away. I
Yep.
think a lot of people will be dealing with this one for a while. So
At least we didn't have two of them like that hurricane.
yeah, no kidding. I think I was reading something that they had this year. We've had more recorded hurricanes than we've ever had in the past. More category 4+ or something, or we're tied for category 4+ storms this year. So yeah, I guess it could be worse here anyway.
We're ready to move on.
Yep.
Boone County Trails Advisory Committee update.
All right. I just kind of wanted to give you guys, no, those are all Boone Forks. Hold on one second. I don't know what just happened. I can stop sharing for a minute. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update on where we are with things for the Boone County Trails Advisory Committee. I've kind of updated you, I guess, again, last month with the new supplemental scope of services through Snyder, kind of what our priorities are moving forward as part of this contract with them. We have just submitted the Federal Rec Trails grant. As you know, we just passed that resolution. We do have a number of other grants that are secured and money secured. We do have $100,000 through the Transportation Alternatives Program through CERTPA, which we've had for quite some time. The Boone County Trails Advisory Committee has allocated $12,500 towards this project as well. And then we did just receive a Wellmark small grant for $25,000. Of course, the Land and Water Conservation Fund awarded $150,000, which is pending approval from them. We're still waiting on a decision through the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers on an updated lease for Swede Point. I have been in contact with them. I know they're moving along with it. I just don't know where we're at exactly in the process. I did talk with, or I've been emailing back and forth with one of the representatives for the Land and Water Conservation Fund as far as some other information that they need. I'm hopefully going to get that out to them tomorrow, sit down and get that done. We also have a State Historical Preservation Office's SHPO review that we're getting lined up right now. I know Mindy from Snyder Associates had just put out an email here the end of last week requesting that. So we're moving right along as far as that phase 1 project goes. Of course, still looking for some funding. Kurt Phillips and I did put in a request to the Leonard Good Foundation for some more funding as part of the construction for this project, and then also for kind of administration fees moving forward for Snyder. I haven't heard back from Kurt yet on that. Maybe they have some more decisions to make. Al, I don't know if you have any insight or you can say anything, but I know you do sit on that committee. But yeah, we're just still putting it out there. We've put out to a couple other local foundations for some funding there. I know the Force just gave us a little bit of money to help with the fees for Snyder and things like that. So QF Lane is being paved as we speak. Actually, I don't know if they're working right now, but they are scheduled. They're scheduled as of last Friday to be down there this week to get that paved. Sounds like it's only going to take about a week as long as the weather cooperates. So yeah, I'm sure those folks will be happy. We'll be happy to have a nice paved lane from 210 down to both trailheads. So I did, this is kind of off subject with the project we have going on right now. I know we'd always talked about other trails in the county, and I know Marilyn and I had discussions, why aren't we looking at going north more? Well, I was doing a little research on that here a while back, and I didn't know if there'd ever been a conversation with the folks who operate the Boone and Scenic Valley Railroad to include a trail with the railroad. And I didn't even know if that was a thing. So I started looking into it, and there's actually a lot of rails with trails across the nation and across the world. And I was thinking, this might be something, the land's already there. The Scenic Valley already owns the land. Basically, you have to stay 40 feet from the railway with the trail. If you're less than 40, I believe you have to have a fence. But I went on and looked at the map, and it looks like most, not all, but most of that area along the Scenic Valley Railroad would meet that criteria. So I shot some info over to Kurt Phillips, just some of the studies that have been done. And he said, no, I don't think they'd ever had that conversation. So he was going to talk with, I believe, Travis Stevenson is the director, kind of the head of that whole thing. And they were going to have that conversation. So, to me, it sounds like a win-win for the trail users in Boone and Scenic Valley. You're going to get exposure from both, and a lot of these rails with trails, they are, similar to the type of situation we have here. They're abandoned, not abandoned railroad lines, but they're passenger trains. They're not really like a Amtrak where they're running passengers nationwide, but they're kind of more of a tourist-based attraction. And I was actually surprised to find that they do have rails to trails along commercial freight lines, which kind of scared me, but they're out there. So this, hopefully it's something we can talk with the folks from Boone and Scenic Valley Railroad about and see if they're interested. And again, I think it seems like a win-win. It sounds to me like you could probably get something on the ground quicker there than you ever would trying to get from Boone to the High Trestle Trail. But again, we're still trying with that whole deal, and we will continue to until we really have no more options. So, other than that, I did have High Trestle Trail Steering Committee meeting last Friday. We did discuss a few things as part of next year will be 10 years that the High Trestle Trail has been open. Trying to decide on, do we do an event, hold some sort of event? Is there some sort of a low-hanging fruit type project that we could implement, to kind of show people, hey, if we can't do an event, who knows where we're going to go, everything with COVID, when things are going to slow down there. And as far as putting on the event, we definitely need, obviously, help from volunteers. And I'm sure there's a lot of trails groups out there that would help with that, but it's just something that we're going to discuss. We've also talked a little bit about the lights, still waiting on some bids. I've actually got to find in my closet full of blueprints the actual specs for when those lights were originally installed, try to find those and get them to some contractors so we can hopefully see what a total overhaul of that system will look like. So going to be working on that this winter. Other than that, just pretty much you guys already know where we're at with the trails. Like I said, we're still just looking for funding for that phase 1 project from Swede Point to the High Trestle Trail on QF, and we'll keep plugging along. So any questions?
Do they have a total amount they estimate it will cost to do that phase 1?
Well, right now we're looking at about, I don't have that grant right here in front of me. The portion from basically 210 to Swede Point is going to be, by the time the design, engineering, construction, and everything, you're looking at about $900,000. And that's what they always say. That's kind of I guess, about $1 million a mile is what they say. And I think it's 8 miles of trail, 8 or 11 miles of trail for that whole project. So it's going to take, and when you talk $1 million miles or $1 million a mile for trail, it just kind of depends. I think that's just kind of a rough number they throw out there. Of course, our trail to get from Boone to the High Trestle Trail, our terrain is a lot more sketchy, I guess, than a lot of the Rails 2 trails where they, turn old rail beds into trails. So we've got probably a lot more money wrapped up in it than what that $1 million a mile figure looks like.
So of that 900,000 to get up to Swede Point, how much do they already have in grants? A couple 100,000?
We've got, where are we at? Just kind of trying to do the math in my head right now.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious what percentage of the way there.
We've got about 300,000.
Okay.
So about a third of the way there.
Thanks.
For that project. And we're asking for federal rec trail, 143,000. I can't remember what Kurt and I had done for the Leonard Good as far as construction goes. Say it's only been a week ago since I looked at it. I just can't remember. But yeah, we're still, again, the tricky part about it is some of these grants that we have been awarded will be awarded next year. So it's looking like, realistically, we'll probably have to look for extensions on some of these if we don't have the funding available by that time. But again, we're still putting out grants, finding new grant opportunities every day that are, I know the casinos are one that we've been looking at real close to try to see if we can get some of that money, since we do border 2 counties that do have casinos. But yeah, again, we're working on it, but it's a slow process. It's a kind of a tedious process as far as the grants go with the federal grants, because you can't match federal dollars with federal dollars. So you have to work, the project right now, as far as getting from the High Trestle Trail to Swede Point, is broken up into 3 separate projects. Just again, because you can't leverage federal funds with federal funds. So you have to break it down into separate projects. So yeah, it's, I'm learning a lot, even though I'm not, Snyder's written most of the grants. Of course, I'm looking at them pretty closely, for the future, hopefully someday there's a few of us that'll be, pretty seasoned at grant writing. So we don't have to dole a lot of this work out to other people to write our grants. And it to me, it just seems like it helps that way too. Cause we know a lot more about our properties and what we have going on than even Snyder does, even though they've been involved with it for 2 or 3 years. These are areas that we're out every day working in. So there's some information that I forwarded to them, I think that might help in grants that they are using now. One of those would be when we applied for the state rec trail grant, they had come back and asked if we had any data as far as trail usage from folks that stay at Swede Point. And we really don't. We have the trail counter data, but we don't have a questionnaire out there asking people, are you staying at Swede Point? Or, if you are staying at Swede Point, are you using the trail? So a good indicator that I came up with was out-of-state visitors that are staying at Swede Point. Since Swede Point is kind of a, off the beaten path, small campground here in Boone, Iowa, or Boone County, we'd think, it's a pretty safe assumption to say that a lot of those folks that are coming from out of state are staying there because they're visiting the trail. So I went through and just looked at our campground registrations from last July through this July. And I may have told you guys this too, we had over 100 visitors from 25 different states just in a year's time. So sent that off to them, and now we're using that data in all of our grants we write, just to kind of reinforce the fact that yes, people are using the trail, they are staying here in Boone County, and they are, a lot of them are staying at Swede Point. So
I have a couple questions. We were down at the trail last night and there isn't any sign of any paving or any equipment or anything there yet on QF, right?
On
Is that,
QF.
so they're yet to do that, be there, I think. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe-
I was just by there, it was probably about noon today, and they did have a truck. They had a flagger truck out there, and he was running back and forth. So I'm assuming, yeah, they probably just staged all the equipment today or in the process of staging it. The way I talked with Jonathan, the assistant county engineer here last week, and he made it sound like it wasn't that huge of a project. It'd only take them about a week. So.
Yeah. The other question I had is, where are we on the restroom facility at Grants Woods? Is that just something that's been tabled or what's going on there?
Yeah, we're I'm gonna send out some proposals or some RFPs, some requests for proposals for some contractors here. Once I get some time to sit down in the office and get that done, so we can get some bids on the concrete. We did decide, I believe it would have been earlier this summer, that we are going to go with the precast building that sits on a foundation,
Okay.
rather than the one that sits on just a packed subgrade. We thought for storm safety and just the way that ground is out there, we thought that would probably be the best bet. So I just need to get a hold of them and get the actual specs for the building, and then get some RFPs out there to try to get some proposals, some bids for the concrete work. And then once we're there, as far as the budget goes, I think we should have enough money in the budget for this year, definitely, to get that pad poured. And then I may have mentioned this too. I was going to talk with the manufacturers and see if we couldn't pay for a portion of that building out of this year's budget and then a portion out of next year's budget too. But I want to get all that hashed out before we get into figuring our new budget for the next fiscal year. So hopefully I'm banking on this next month. I'll have more information on that. So.
Okay, that's fine. I just have had a couple of people ask me about that, so I said I would ask. So that sounds good. Thanks.
Yep, no problem. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have as far as the Boone County Trails Advisory Committee update. I'm sure Kurt would probably be in my ear right now. No, tell him about this. Tell him about this too. But no, like I said, we're just kind of in that process right now, working with Snyder, trying to get this phase 1 project all figured out, and then move on from there. I know we did at our last meeting, we did talk a little bit about getting back out to the Clover Woods grounds and walking that and see if Snyder can drop a proposal for a potential trail alignment through that property. But again, we're still kind of in limbo with what's going on there. I haven't heard anything new. Anybody else heard anything else on that?
No, I bet they lost a lot of trees in there. I mean,
They did. I talked.
Yes.
Is it? Yeah, I did talk a little bit with Lisa Hine about that. There is a funding source through, I think it'd be through ISU Ag Extension. There's a program out there that they can apply for to get a lot of those trees removed in some of those areas. As long as they haven't touched anything, then they can hire crews to come through and kind of remove those and do any of the removals they need to, and do the tree trimming, getting any of the hanging stuff out of there. I think they were moving forward with that, but other than that, I've been keeping a pretty close eye on the agendas for the Natural Resource Commission with the DNR, and I haven't seen anything with Clover Woods on there.
No, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah. So, but yeah, again, that's kind of where we're at with the Trails Advisory Committee, and I'll probably update you guys again in another couple months or sooner if we have any new developments with grant funding. So,
Boone Forks update.
All right. So Boone Forks, I'm going to go ahead and share screen and kind of show you guys what we've been up to there. So as you guys know, we have been working on a website. We did have that photo shoot here a couple months back. Got a lot of great photos from all 3 counties within the region. I'm just going to kind of scroll through and just kind of show you what the layout will look like once it is all finished. we're going to be ready to launch that thing here in the next couple, I would say probably the next month or two. So once that happens, I'll definitely forward you guys a link to that. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of run through this real quick. And they've just got different aspects within the website. We've got an event page. Of course, there's no events going on right now, so there probably won't be a lot on that or the calendar as of this year. But we do have, so this is, oh, there's a picture of Katie and Sabrina. Took out at Don Williams. Cool, one of the High Trestle Trail in the fog. So yeah, we've got things to do, and we've kind of got them broken down by county. When you go in, you'll be able to open these things up, and it'll show you what amenities they have for each county. And all 3 counties have something on there. There's a hunting picture of Blaine. Looks kind of funny in July with all the different stuff blooming. That shouldn't be during hunting season, but I don't think a lot of people will probably notice that. Outdoor activities, again, got off-road vehicles, winter sports, parks, trails, water, equestrian. Let's see. I think we've got like featured attractions for each, well, those will kind of be on a rotating schedule as far as what our feature attractions are. Plan your visit, there'll be an interactive map of all 3 counties where they can, click on the map. There'll be things highlighted on the map that from the website. We have itineraries for different tours, self-guided tours throughout the 3 different counties that we're working on putting together. That's kind of the last piece of the puzzle that we're working on to get it to the website designers so they can get that stuff on there. And yeah, I said there's a lot of interactive map. Keep scrolling here. Yeah, the itineraries for the tours, different events, calendar, and we've kind of got the calendar figured too. We're going to be able to put all of the different events that we have. We're going to try to do one event in each county. That's kind of a culmination of all of our efforts between the 3 counties. And then we'll also have our other programs and events that we have, that we just do county by county, and they'll all be on the calendar, color coded, so people can get on there, and we'll have an easier way to get on rather than just going to our website or Hamilton County's website or Webster County's website. They'll be able to come here, look at the calendar, and kind of see what they can do within the region all at once. So here's a couple of the annual events that we do have on there: Boone River Valley Festival, Cruise of the Woods Car Show, Frontier Days, Puffer Billy Days. I know they have, I think, the Junk Days up in Fort Dodge too, or Webster. No, that's Hamilton County. Classes through the Legacy Learning Program, and then also classes that our naturalists will hold, and then just kind of a background and history of how the Boone Forks came to be. And yeah, so pretty neat website. We're all pretty excited to see that thing get launched. So yeah, that's what we've been up to there. A couple other things that we've been up to. Iowa Great Places is holding a meeting here in the next couple weeks. If you guys remember here, I think it was last year or the year before, we applied as all 3 counties to be an Iowa Great through the, I think that's through, gosh, can't remember what department that's through. But anyway, Iowa Great Places, we did apply and were accepted as part of the Boone Forks region, Tri-County area. And there's quite a bit of grant funding available for that if you can tie it into your regions. So we've been kind of throwing around ideas as far as what we want to do for a grant proposal. So when you sign up to be an Iowa Great Place, you're designated for 5 years, and you can apply one time for a grant for the Iowa Great Places. So we're trying to figure out, we are on our 3rd year. This next year will be our 3rd year. So we're trying to determine how we want to tie a big project in. They want it to be more of a brick and mortar type project rather than a marketing objective or something like that. So trying to tie it in to see if maybe we can tie in a trails project within all 3 counties, with the hope that someday all 3 of those trails will connect. We've also talked about our water trails. We need new signage for all of our water trails. which connect Boone River, Des Moines River, all connected into one. So yeah, we've got that meeting next month to just kind of talk about the grant and what they expect for that. I know myself and Matt, the director, Matt Cosgrove from Webster County, are both attending that meeting. So also been talking about, we do have as part of the some of the money that we got as part of the Parks to People, the whole initiative there. We still had some money left over from that we had received. So we're looking at some other marketing and advertising avenues. Hamilton County and Webster County have their chambers are really good about, not that ours isn't, but they've got commercials that are on the radio. They've got commercials on TV, and we've been looking at some possible avenues there to be able to market the Boone Forks region, kind of in the central Iowa area, and let people know what we are, who we are, what we do, what we have available. So, and then we talked about administration fees, which we budgeted for this last year. I think every county puts in $4,000. I believe we budgeted for $2,000 from the conservation board, and we usually ask the foundation for the other $2,000. We're still not sure where and when we will need those. I know we had, with everything COVID related, we actually had some of the fees that were involved in the hiring of that person part-time. They didn't spend a ton of time with Boone Forks, so we're carrying a little bit of that over into this upcoming year. So I'll kind of keep you guys updated as to when that happens and when we'll need the funds for that. So, but yeah, Boone Forks. Again, I think once we get the website launched, once we kind of get the classes and the calendars and the events all hashed out, I think it's going to be a really neat deal. I know they've been pretty successful over in the Grants Woods area in eastern Iowa and in the Luss Hills area in western Iowa with their Parks to People region. So we're hoping we'll have the same success here. So. I think that is about all I have for that. Any questions on Boone Forks?
No.
All right.
Mid-Iowa Golf Association Men's League request.
Yep. So here it's been a few weeks ago, out at a lot of the members out at Don Williams play in a Mid-Iowa Golf Association. It's a traveling league that they travel all over central Iowa. They do a lot of the ones, the courses here in Boone County. They go to Huxley, Story City, Hubbard, Webster City, Colo, Jewel, a lot of the ones that are kind of in the north central area of Iowa. And they have approached us about a month ago and asked us if we would like to be a part or a location on their traveling league for Mid-Iowa Golf Association. So I told them I didn't think it'd be a huge deal. I'd talk with you guys a little bit about it and bring it up and just kind of let you guys know that it's happening and what they require. I can pull some of that stuff up here too. I can find it. There we go. So this is kind of the contract as far as not the contract, but the cover letter for the contract as far as what they require out of the different golf courses. Someone to help collect green fees for the outing, which of course the concessionaire for the clubhouse would be, they're already responsible to do. They assign 6 prize holes for different criteria. I did talk with Dean Sampson. He's the administrator for the whole traveling league, and just kind of talked with him, and he said they typically take care of that stuff. Our staff, I guess, we're not professional golfers, so wouldn't even know where to start to put those different prize pins. They just require a golf ball for each number of golfers to be handed out at the end of the day. We've got buckets of balls there, so that wouldn't come to any cost to us. Light meal to be served around noon. Again, the concessionaire would be in charge of that. So there really isn't a ton that we have to do. We just basically have to set a date within their calendar that works the best for them. And then we charge, they start at 8 a.m., $20 green fees, except as noted, and that $20 kind of takes care of the green fees and the meal and things like that. So I just told them, I think, our green fees for 9 holes is $15 with the cart. and I told them we usually set our fees here in January, end of December, January. So at that point, we can all kind of do some checking around to see what the other courses are charging as far as the green fees go for those. And then we'll get that figured out too. So, but yeah, other than that, so there's really not a lot on our end that we need to do except just have the course available to them. So, anybody have any questions?
They're probably expecting new golf balls for prizes.
I asked Dean that, and he said it didn't really matter. He said they're just kind of something to, and I guess I didn't really understand what those are for. Do they just write a number on them and do like a drawing or something? Or how does that work, Al?
Well, I assume they're prizes for.
Well, I guess it'd be at the end of each day for the prize holes and top flight.
Yeah. If you get the longest drive on a hole, you get a ball, and get the longest putt, you get a ball. And
oh, okay. Well, I'll have to run that by him and see what he says. But I thought that's what he said. They didn't need to be anything special. They were just balls to show that they had won the prize or something like that. Again, I'm not a big golfer, so I don't know. Yeah, I'll find out more information from him too, and then again here in the next couple months we'll set fees for next year. And again, I think it's $20 if we can. It's for 18 holes, so I mean we'd have to make a little bit of a discount for them on that, but I don't think that's a huge deal.
Is that $20 supposed to include the meal, or is that?
I don't. Again, I'm gonna have to find out more information on Dean. I don't think so. I think that was just for the green fees for the outing. And I know some courses charge 25. It looks like Cedar Point charges 28. Honey Creek charges 32. But I think they do that because they're an 18-hole course. But I don't know why that would matter if they're only playing 18 holes anyway. So. But yeah, I'm gonna have to find out on that. But yeah, like I said, if we do allow it, it's only one time a year, so it'd just be a one-time fee of the $20 green fee for 18 holes. So it'd be right around $30 for 18 right now. So yeah, we'll just have to kind of hash that out and see if it's something we want to do. But I just thought I'd introduce it to you guys because I know there's a lot of talk about it. There's a lot of those folks that are excited about it coming to Don Williams. So.
Might have to find out how many golfers they have. Make sure you got enough carts.
Carts, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I will find that stuff out, and then once, like I said, we start setting fees for the next year, I can kind of give you an update on that and decide if $20 makes sense, and we'll kind of go from there. So, all right. Any questions on any of that?
Looks like open discussion.
All right. So just a few things on here. We've actually had a few special events come up here in the last couple months since folks are, I guess, getting out and doing more things, hopefully being social distance and masked and things like that. Yeah, we've had a couple special events come up here. We had Iowa Bass Stalkers had a bass fishing tournament at Don Williams not this last weekend, but the weekend before. We also had a fishing derby out here, and that would have been and that was for the the Boone Optimist Club held a fishing derby out here. I think there was only 15 or 20 kids, but they did that the last weekend in September. We did have another request for filming on the High Trestle Trail. Justin Norman is his name, and they did a little filming over the weekend, and then also back in September for a pilot that they're shooting for a comedy that they're going to pitch to Amazon and Netflix and things like that too. So be interesting to see if that pans out. The film or the TV pilot is called Tube Lords. So if you see that out there, chances are the High Trestle Trail may be in it. So
Tube Lords.
Tube Lords, yep. And Justin Norman is the gentleman who's doing it. They actually got a grant through the Iowa Arts Council to film this pilot. So I think they were going to do a lot of that filming here in Central Iowa. So there was that, and then we had the last, or when was that? That would also been the last weekend in September. We had the Scouts come out, and I don't know if you guys remember, usually every other year they come out and they do a Scout camporee out at Don Williams or another location. They've actually come to Don Williams twice. This year, with everything going on with COVID, they did not do that, but instead they held just kind of a day event, and they had an adventure race where they did some canoeing, biking, and walking, orienteering. They had archery involved, and sounded like a pretty cool deal. I wasn't able to come out and spectate during that, but I think they had around 50 kids that participated in it. And they also did a little bit of a service project down by the marina, helped do some clearing in a little area right there just north of the boat ramp. Sounded like we're just waiting on some pictures. Once we get those back, I'll definitely forward those to you guys. But yeah, we're glad to be able to help them out again this year with that. So other than that, we did have cross country meet, first cross country meet we've had out at Don Williams for quite some time out on the golf course. That was 2 weeks ago from today. Everything went great. No issues there. There are a few things that we'll probably do different for next year. They did express some excitement about the Frisbee golf course. Possibly. Oh, go ahead, Marilyn.
No, I was going to ask about the Frisbee golf, if that's still a go.
Yep. We're I've been working with the designer a little bit. We've gotten out and mowed some areas. He's got some trees marked for removals, and once we have the areas mowed that they need done, we'll be able to start setting pins, and once we get the pins, and pouring tee pads and things like that. So we're hoping to get there's about 10 holes that are ready. We're hoping to get those done yet this fall, as long as the weather holds out. So
Good.
yeah. But they did, the cross-country coach at Ogden was very excited that we are putting that in, thinking that eventually they'll probably run that rather than the golf course itself for the cross-country meets. We didn't have, again, I think the cross-country meet went off all right. We did have a few complaints from some of the golfers just that the course was closed for a cross-country meet. But it's like, come on, guys, it's one day, a few hours for one day, not that big of a deal. And, nope, like I said, I think everything went off. Parking, we'll do a little bit different with parking next time. But yeah, had a great turnout, and I'm pretty sure that the Ogden boys won the meet too. So it's always nice to win your home meet. So, but trying to think if I have anything else. Just kind of letting you guys know. Usually we send a tentative date for closing the campgrounds as October 15th. Of course, we usually stay open longer. Just kind of watching the weather and watching the temperatures here. If we start seeing temperatures dip below freezing for an extended period of time, we'll start winterizing things and close the campgrounds down. But we've had, this last weekend, we were almost full at Don Williams. We were full at Swede Point. We've been full at Swede Point about every weekend. That's been nice. Anticipate another good weekend. It's going to be a little cooler this next weekend, but we anticipate quite a few campers out then too. So, like I've been telling people, we'll stay open as long as the weather stays nice. So, Clubhouse is closing Thursday at the end of the day. They're just kind of in the process of trying to get rid of inventory and things like that. They're gonna, once they get everything closed down, they're gonna come back in. Marie and her staff are gonna come back up and finish some of the painting they've been working on this summer, get the carpet ripped out. So when we are ready to, the painting is done on the inside, we can get some new flooring down in there. Kind of one of those things, relatively cheap, just to kind of brighten the building up until we do get a new facility in line. So, yeah, I guess another event, Blaine, our park ranger got married last weekend out at Swede Point. They had the ceremony out there, so that was pretty cool. Went out watched the ceremony and stayed for a little while, but nope, went off without a hitch. Perfect weekend for it. And I told him, I'm like, we need to keep those pictures because we could market this. We could start advertising weddings at Swede Point and tie the trail into it somehow. And yeah, it was beautiful. They had, a really nice setup. It wasn't, probably 100 people maybe, but yep, they had a really good setup and everything went great there. So, but yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Anybody else have any questions, comments on anything? Sorry.
No,
Well,
what?
That football scores coming in.
That was KCCI. But yeah, football could come in here soon too. So yeah, like I said, I think that's all I have for you guys this month. Kind of update you on anything happening that's important or pertinent. And we'll meet back up next month. So.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?